Are you struggling to manage your time effectively? Do you often find yourself overwhelmed, stuck, frozen, and exhausted at the end of the day? Hi, I'm Allyson Lewis, and I want to welcome you to our YouTube channel. This is where we dive deeply into powerful strategies for life and for work. In this video, we're going to be exploring time management skills 101. This is a fundamental video for mastering your day. The 7-Minute Life is a system. So whether you're a seasoned follower of our company or just beginning your time management journey, this video is a comprehensive refresher on how to make the most of every minute. We're going to delve deeply into the art of planning, how you can create a better to-do list, how you can efficiently use your time, and I'll be introducing an exciting new tool. I've just finished writing the Getting Started Guide for the Daily Progress Report. Now, if you're ready to take control of your time and boost that daily productivity, make sure to click on that like button and subscribe to our channel for more life-transforming videos. And be sure to share this video with someone else who could benefit from it. Now, let's jump right into Time Management 101 and discover how you can transform your planning every day. Let's get started. Today, we're going to be talking about that entire concept that time is your most valuable currency. When we wake up in the morning, today is all we have. It's about being present in the moment and celebrating the new day of all of these things. So as we get started, as we jump in, the very first thing I want to do today is give you a definition of what I believe time management is. I believe that time management refers to a process of planning. And let me tell you why that's so important, is that so many of us wake up in the morning, we hop out of bed, we have no idea of what we need to do or what we need to do first. And we sit down in our office and we just start grabbing things and reacting to whatever is the loudest or right in front of us. The 7-Minute Life process of planning will remove that and replace it with a proactive ability to truly plan your day. I love the word organizing. I like to think of what happens when we walk in and we have that clear mind and clear desk. And then finally, time management is learning how to efficiently use one's time to accomplish and listen, specific tasks, which kind of in my mind implies that we know what tasks we want to accomplish goals and responsibilities. So that is the definition that I want to start with today. But then we take it a step further, that effective time management involves setting priorities, establishing goals, scheduling activities, and ensuring that your time aligns with what's most important to you. If you've been coming and watching these classes already, if you're familiar with the 7-Minute Life, we don't want to just have you prioritize your task of what you're going to get done first. We also want to help you align your daily actions with the things that you value most in life, like family or health or mental health or staying connected and learning, all of these things. So if you're taking notes, effective time management involves setting priorities, establishing goals, scheduling activities, and ensuring that the time spent aligns with what's most important to you. Now, in this quick start class, I'm going to be introducing you to a new tool that's called the Getting Started Guide about the Daily Progress Report. And all of these things are important because we want to jumpstart your ability to improve your time management. And I know a lot of you that are here today and watching this class are already familiar with the Daily Progress Report, but the question that I've realized is that it's so much broader than people think And if you're new, we're so excited to introduce this to you. So as you look at this page of here is the daily progress report, where you can download it as a sheet of paper and just use the plain sheet of paper, or you can download it onto an iPad and write on your daily progress report. The key element is this is the only tool you really need to understand, but you need to understand it at a deep level. If we walk in and we are scattered, we need a process where we can put that on a single sheet of paper. I want you to imagine what it's like to sit down at your desk and have a plan. We call that the daily progress report. And in doing that, there are only two other images that you need to understand, and they're on this page. We call this the philosophy of the 5 circles. So if you have a sheet of paper, go ahead and draw those 5 circles. They're 24 hours in a day. That breaks down to 1,440 minutes. 1% of those 1,440 minutes is just 14 minutes. 7 minutes in the morning to think about what you want to do, and 7 minutes in the evening to reflect. A lot of you that are watching this course understand the philosophy of the 5 circles and the importance of taking 7 minutes. But the reason that we come back and we watch these courses over and over again is that even though we know it's as simple as taking 7 minutes to plan, the hard part is that it takes 7 minutes to plan. And I know it's a concept that we understand, but actually developing that daily habit and then going further, what do I use that 7 minutes for? How can I actually not just set a timer and start writing random things down, but how can I develop a habit that we call the morning and evening routine? So in this class, I'm going to be introducing you not only to the daily progress report, not only to the 7-minute philosophy, but also step by step. This is a great refresher for all of you that are getting started. Let's go all the way back. Now that we've done a definition, that we've shared a definition of time management, let me share the principles of time management. Time management is the most important skill set that we need in business. Time management allows us to focus on the most important things. Proper time management allows us to utilize our day in an efficient manner. It allows us to have a plan of, I'm going to do this task first, and I'm going to accomplish this task second, and this task third. And I'm not going to be distracted by everything around me. I'm going to have a step by step by step process. I believe that one of the things that encouraged me to start the 7-minute life is I did not have any repeatable processes. I did not have systems that I could rely on when I couldn't rely on my memory. How many times have we looked out and said, what is it that I was working on? So we need a process. And the key principle of the time management is that having those repeatable processes will make your life better. So there are 3 concepts in time management. The first one, time management, actually refers to time blocking. Time management is how we allocate our time. A lot of people interchange time management with the tasks they have on their calendar. How am I going to use my time to have all the meetings, to schedule out those blocks of times? When am I going to accomplish a task? That's time management. And we know that time management is only about allocating. It's not about really executing. Because you know as well as I know that when we walk in the morning, we may have our time allocated, but other things come into our life that change that allocation. Things happen where we can't control them. Emails come in, phone calls come in, someone knocks on your door. So your time allocation is not really set in stone. Productivity is the key element of what we teach here at the 7-Minute Life. Productivity is an agricultural term. It means that you plant something and it produces, like, you go to the farmer's market and you buy produce. It's something that was planted and grows into a final product. Imagine that productivity means waking up in the morning and creating that vision and clarity of what you want to accomplish at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, you can look backwards and say, man, I was really productive today. So there are two parts. We do have to allocate our time, but we want to make sure that we're allocating our time where we are productive. I want you to be thinking of, even today, what are the goals that you want to accomplish? Productivity is always tied closely toward achieving the things that are goals that you want to accomplish. Now, efficiency is also an important part of the 7-Minute Life, very different. Efficiency is where you create a skill and you become more proficient at accomplishing that skill. Let me just give you an example. When I was first creating this type of material, where I was working on webinars and trying to get them accomplished every day or every week, we teach every Tuesday, is that those webinars would initially take me 10 to 12 hours to put together. As my skills grew, as I became more proficient in creating PowerPoints, as I became more proficient at understanding the concept of how to structure a webinar, my efficiency went up. Now it takes me roughly 4 hours. So think about all the things that you're doing in your job, that if you could increase your skill sets, if you could become more proficient, it would make you a lot faster. So time is always moving forward. This arrow that you see here, let me grab a pen, is a key element. Every day has a beginning, every day has an end. We have to allocate our time. Here's when I'm going to get up. This is when I'm going to do this. We allocate our time. One of the things we forget is that we may be busy, but we may not be productive. We have to define what we want to accomplish at the end of the day. And then as we move through and we become more skilled, more proficient, we can do these tasks more quickly. That it can be life-changing for you. 3 skills, we need to improve all of them. First one, we need to allocate our time more efficiently. When do you have more energy? When do you have more quiet time? When are you going to be more productive? First thing is allocating your time based on what you need to do, but also your own personal energy skills. Productivity. Productivity means starting the day knowing what you want to produce at the end of the day. Efficiency is a decision. We have to learn to increase our efficiency by increasing our skills. But we need to focus on those things now because time is always moving forward. I look at where I was 10 years ago and the skill sets that I had with time management 10 years ago, and I'm grateful that I have focused on improving them. So I want you to think about improving your time management skills, which is why you're here today. Imagine if you could allocate your time better, become more productive, and become more efficient. Now, these 3 things are always looking backward. And what I mean by that is that you don't know if you've allocated your time properly until at the end of the day, looking backwards. You don't know if you've been productive, if you've accomplished your goals until the end of the day, looking backwards. And you don't know if you've been efficient until the end of the day when you're looking backwards. What that tells me is that we need 2 things. We need a morning routine, a way in the morning that we can plan, and we can plan what action we're going to take. And then we need some type of a plan in the evening, a routine or a process at the end of the day where we can reflect. So if this is a huge principle of time management. Time is going to pass us by whether we plan or not. And so I want to create an ideal plan of action. Almost 30, excuse me, almost 30 years ago, let me take a sip of water. Almost 30 years ago, before I even founded the 7-Minute Life, I realized I needed a single sheet of paper. And this is what we are going to be talking about. Two things: the daily progress report. And remember, I'd never had a getting started guide, so I've created that. And then we're going to be talking about why 7 minutes. We're going to be talking about the morning routine, and then we're going to close it out. So daily progress report is a single sheet of paper. Kara, I think, can put into chat where you can access the daily progress report. It obviously is in all of our courses. But I want you to look at this, and we're going to go through this fairly quickly, is that the daily progress report is broken into pieces. And as you look at this, the first piece is the days of the week. Today is a Tuesday. When you download your daily progress report, I want you to put a date on it. The very first thing is taking ownership of your day, saying no matter what else comes into my day, I know that I do have the ability to make some choices. We're going to go through the rest of the steps, but I have to start with these other two concepts. When we talk about the 24 hours in a day, 1,440 minutes, 1% of our time, 7 minutes in the morning to think, 7 minutes in the morning to reflect, I want to share the importance of why 7 minutes. Every action that you let into your day, every task, everything on your to-do list, everything that we let into our day is automatically knocking something else out. What good reminders for us to remember that every single thing we let into our day, 2 hours of social media, an hour of watching TV, anything that we let into our life is automatically knocking something else out. What if instead of just letting things knock out, we could take time to develop skills to think about what we want to accomplish, to clarify, to truly clarify? I think that alone is a skill, to say, here's who I am, here's who I want to be, this is how I want to get there. Every day, saying, this is my North Star. These are my priorities. This is what I value today. This is what I want to produce. This is how I want to spend my time. To clarify that, and only then to plan out how you want to allocate your time. To create the to-do list and to prioritize those things, and then to choose, am I going to be able to accomplish those things? We teach people how to leverage 1% of your day to think, clarify, plan, prioritize, and choose how you're going to be able to spend the remaining 99% of your time. So easy. It's so easy. It only takes 7 minutes. But I think sometimes that can be the hard thing, is that we're not reminded to take the 7 minutes. So here's the whole report. This is the sheet of paper. You can download it. We're going to give it away for free, but it is a lifetime of learning. I love reminding people of this. One sheet of paper. It's called the Daily Progress Report because I want to track my progress every day. Am I doing the right things? Am I focusing on the right things? So let's share with what it is. I believe we need a written plan of action. There's so many of us that wake up in the morning, we hop in the shower, and we have 1,000 things that run through our mind. And we think we can hold them in our mind, but by the time we sit down at our desk, it's like our brain is a dry erase board, and everything that we had said we were going to do has flown out of our mind, and we just start reacting. We call that shower planning. And what I believe we need is written planning, intentional planning, proactive planning. We need a written plan. If you've been following the 7-Minute Life for a long time, we focus on the neuroscience of planning and the concept of taking your dreams for the day, your actions for the day, and processing it consciously, where you're thinking about things, bringing it into conscious awareness, and then taking a pen and writing it down. There's so much research that says when we think about things, when we form them into conscious thoughts, and then we take a pen and write them down, our commitment to accomplish them is manifold. It's just more effective. That single sheet of paper is going to also give you a structure, a repeatable process, a system, a template that is designed to organize your day. Every day, it's going to help you review your goals, prioritize your task, and stay focused. One of the things it's done for me is that when I do get pulled aside by something different, it focuses me back. I can just look down at that sheet of paper and see where I was and just pick right back up. Very key. Now, there are a lot more things. It's a daily written plan of action. It's repeatable processes. It's going to help you focus. We don't have time right now to go through all of these things, but you'll have access to them as you go through the course. But there are two other things that I want you to know is that the 7-Minute Life Daily Progress Report is primarily a capture tool, and it also puts everything in one safe location. No more Post-it notes, no random sheets of paper. Capture all of your ideas in one place and keep it in a safe location. It's really that simple. Having a daily sheet of paper, taking 7 minutes to think, and having a progress report, something simple to use. First step, we want to date today's date, take ownership of the day. Step 2 is we want to create a brainstorm. So at this point, I physically pick up my phone and I say, hey, Siri, set a timer for 7 minutes. And the timer gets set for 7 minutes. Then I turn my phone over, and I'm going to cancel that. I turn my phone upside down and I begin to think and clarify and plan and prioritize and choose. But I put everything down that I could do. I whether it's something important or not important, I put everything down on that sheet of paper. I want to know everything that I could do. So the clock is ticking. I not only write down the things that I want to do, I also prioritize them. So after I have every single thing written down that I could do, I come back and I say, this is the first one that I will do. This is the second most important, the third, the fourth, the fifth. And then I physically rewrite them. I actually will go back in and write them a second time, even though that takes more time. It helps me go through that second layer of filtering. Is this really what I want to accomplish? In this 5 before 11, if you can accomplish 5 high-value tasks every day for the next 7 days, 5 high-value tasks times 7 days, 35 high-value tasks. Now, I know a lot of you that are watching this course that have been through this over and over again. Sometimes we forget the power of doing those tiny little steps. 5 before 11, creating a list in just 7 minutes and making a commitment to know, if I want to produce this goal, then these are the tasks. They're going to lead me there. If I can't get everything done, can I do 5? 5 before 11. In a week, you'd accomplish 35 high-value tasks. But the 7-Minute Life is actually built on a 90-day platform. What if over the next 90 days, you accomplish 5 high-value tasks? Over 90 days, you would accomplish 450 high-value tasks. And when I'm teaching live, it's at this point that I almost take a breath and let people think about the power of learning with a single sheet of paper that over the next 90 days, accomplishing 450 high value tasks, I could just stop right there. The power of it, of this single sheet of paper, just 5 things, not overwhelming yourself thinking you have to get a gazillion things, but just a few things written. Something so simple. The next piece on this is connections. I believe in life it is very important to stay connected. And so I put it on this daily progress. I actually want to track, am I staying connected with people? Now, if you're in sales, it's important to stay connected with prospects, to network, to tell about your services that you provide. But even if you're in sales, it's also important to stay connected with your friends. We don't know when someone's going through something where we just need to pick up the phone and call someone and say, hey, how are you doing? Or a connection might just be texting a note to someone, or a connection might be writing a thank you note to someone or a card to someone. Staying connected is really important. When you're looking at the overall structure of the daily progress report, typically when you're doing something, like if you're focusing on a 5 before 11, someone may ask you, as you've called them to do something else, to have a follow-up task that then is unfinished. So if someone asks you to do something from one of your phone calls, you can write it here. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do everything someone says right then. You may have more important tasks to do, but you want to have a capture place to put it. I also use this for errands, like go pick up the milk or drop something off at the dry cleaner, but I want everything else right there. The next section is for my own mental health. If I'm getting things done, I also want to be grateful in life. If I'm not getting things done, I still want to be grateful. There's a lot of neuroscience behind just writing down things that we're grateful for. So that section is for that. At the bottom of this is what we call psychological triggers. Psychological triggers to remind us that we need to drink more water. We need to get enough sleep. We need to exercise. Certainly, we need to take 7 minutes in the morning and 7 minutes in the evening to reflect. If we could just make a decision to read 10 pages of a book a day in 30 days, you'd read a 300-page book. I think you can see so many of these things are really easy at the 7-minute life. Tracking what you eat to make sure that you are eating nutritious food that gives you the ability to be productive. But at the end of this single sheet of paper, at the end of the day, it is important to hold ourselves accountable, to ask ourselves to look back and say, did I do what I said I would do today? And if we have 20 things on our to-do list and we only do 19, sometimes we feel like, wow, I didn't get everything done, which makes us feel bad. But if we really say to ourselves, I only have to accomplish 5 high-value things, and we accomplish those 5, the answer is yes. And some days it's if I just get that one really important thing done. So this daily progress report, I believe, can change your life. It certainly has changed mine. I've been using it for the last 30 years. Now, a lot of people still came to us and said, okay, great, Allyson, I get that you want to set a timer for 7 minutes, but I'm still not clear about what I'm supposed to write down. So this is the next concept. And I hope you'll take a screenshot of this. During that 7 minutes in the morning, I've created a morning routine, and I'm going to actually walk you through that step by step. And there's an evening routine. We won't have enough time to go through that, but I'm going to introduce it to you today. 7 minutes in the morning, 7 minutes in the evening. In the morning, when I grab my daily progress report, I physically want to prime myself for the day. I want to come in and kind of do a gut check of how do I feel today? You know, there are days that I have a lot of energy. On those days, I should really hit the ground running. But the reality is there are days that we just don't have that motivation. And on those days, we need to be aware of that. And maybe we need to focus on producing some things that are just at a slower pace. One of the most important things as you're creating your daily progress report is knowing what your goal is at the end of the day. You know, we often have 5-year goals or 1-year goals. And if you don't have those goals yet, this course is going to show you how to set that. But understanding not only your long-term goal, but also what is my goal for today? How exciting is that? What if it's just one goal for today? This is my one goal for today, is teaching this class. And at the end of finishing this, I will be able to say, yes, I did what I said I would do today. But if we don't know our goals, then we never get there. In addition to knowing what we want to accomplish, we need to look at our projects. Even as you're listening to this, I hope that you'll start writing down, here are some of the things I'm working on. What are the projects? Some of your projects right now may be strategic planning. It may be creating a marketing plan, or focusing on social media, or creating financial projections. It may be product creation. I'm not sure what industry all of you are in, but you may have projects at your home. I need to clean out of a closet, or I need to have my car repaired, or get my taxes ready. Think about what projects you're working on during that 7 minutes. Again, you don't have to accomplish them on that day, but think about it. And then as you're taking your 7 minutes, you begin to write down the to-do list. And that to-do list is the #1 key to success. It seems so simple, but everything we write down on our to-do list, I want you at the end of the 7 minutes to go back and look and say, are these things going to move me forward? There are a lot of filtering questions. Is it important? Is it important to do today? Am I the one that should be doing it? Is this high value or low value? All these filtering questions, being able to go back through your to-do list. After you've created your to-do list, prioritizing those in order of importance. And this can be really hard for me, because often the first thing I need to do may be really hard. So sometimes I actually will make it the second thing that I need to do, and I'll do something really easy first so I can at least get a check mark. But prioritizing those tasks. We weren't able to cover it in this class, but asking yourself how long it will take. So often we overestimate how many things we can get accomplished, and we underestimate how long they're going to take. So the morning routine finally ends when we determine our 5 before 11 list. And we say, these are the 5 things. These are the 5 most important things. And let me just show you how that lines up with the daily progress report. This is a process. It's a process that can change your life. And it's the first thing you really need to learn about the 7-minute life is, how can I jumpstart what I'm doing? Every single person watching this can see the simplicity of it. We download a sheet of paper. We take ownership of our day. We think about, how do we feel? We look at what our goal is. We write down our projects. We create a to-do list. We prioritize them in order of importance. This is that little section of how long will it take. And then we make some choices of, these are the most important things I'm going to focus on. 5 before 11. 5 things over the next 7 days. What a huge thing we could do in just 7 days. Imagine what it will be like when you accomplish 35 things. Very powerful. Now, in the evening, again, I'm just going to be able to touch on this, but in the evening, looking backward, you're again going to take your phone and you're going to ask Siri, which I'm not going to ask it, to set a timer for 7 minutes. This is where we forget. In the evening, to just slow down and do some self-reflection, that internal reflection. Life passes us by so quickly. At the end of the day, to say, How do I feel about today? To do a task reflection, an evaluation. Did I do what I said I would do today? Did I focus on things that were productive, that were high value, or did I focus on things that were just busy? I looked busy, but they didn't move me forward. At the end of the day, taking a moment to observe, what did I do well? What obstacles did I face? Were there any challenges? Because if we can learn, we call those friction points and fallouts. If I can understand what slows me down because there's a friction point, or is there a fallout where things are just forgotten, if we can learn to overcome those friction points and fallouts, we can begin to stop them. And we can do that by looking at our daily progress report and then choosing to really be grateful. So powerful. And then at the end of the 7 minutes, just thinking about tomorrow, looking at your calendar, finding out if there are things that you need to plan for. Now, again, this is a very short class, but this 7 minutes in the morning and the 7 minutes in the evening, the entire thing is intended to be a filtering process for you. We can't get everything done. Imagine that you have all these things that you could do, you know, and this is again about the neuroscience of having 1,000 things that come at you and you have to filter through those things. When was the last time you took 7 minutes to think through and say, oh man, I'm focusing on the wrong things? We may even have entire projects that we're working on that are no longer relevant. I mean, think about what AI can do. You know, I'm now very active in artificial intelligence. So if you've been working on big marketing campaigns or writing all kinds of things, artificial intelligence can do that for you. Make sure that the projects that you're working on are still relevant. And then again, choosing, here are the big things that I'm going to focus on, and then being able to say, yes, I'm going to filter those things through where I can focus on the important things. Now, I hope you can write quickly, because I want to just give you the morning routine, some ideas of what I mean, because even though we're going through this 7-minute process and these are the fundamentals, sometimes it's not just tell me about what to be aware, but actually show me. So such good reminders. Even as I was putting this together, I was thinking, yeah, in the morning, I need to think about my mindset. I want to think about fulfillment. We become what we think about most of the time. To sit down and say, here are the things that are important to me. This is my purpose in life, and this makes me happy. And to make sure that we put some of those things into our day. So that's where awareness would start. And then thinking about what is your goal for today. And that is an implication, means it's kind of implying that we already have goals, that we have 5-year goals and yearly goals and monthly goals and weekly goals and daily goals. So this course is going to continue to move you through that process. If you don't have goals, we're going to help you set SMART goals, both for the year, for the month, and even for the week. So what is my goal for today? Knowing what we're trying to be productive toward. Projects in progress. Typically, I just can ask some very simple questions. Who's working on what? When is that project due? Where are we in that project? And how are we getting things done? A lot of this begins with strategy, understanding here's what we need to do, and then pruning out what you don't want to work out. But on those projects, who's working on it? What is it? Defining it. When is it due? Where are we? How are we getting it done? Are there things that we need to change? So far, we've talked about awareness. We've talked about goals. We've talked about projects. Then we come down to our to-do list, where we think about what we could do. We brainstorm. You know, you don't just want to sit down and write down all the things that you've written down for the last 2 years. Be innovative. Feel free, like you can be creative and say, what if I focused on this? What if I did something different? And then capture that in a single location and write it down. As it goes through that unconscious awareness to conscious awareness to into our brain to writing it down. The power of writing it down creates that commitment of, yes, I'm going to accomplish that. On those to-do lists, the second part of that is, as I'm planning, look at what meetings you have for the day, any kind of proposals that you have that you need to get out. Think about the administration, paperwork you need to do, continuing education. Think about the planning that you need to do. Often we forget when we have a meeting, we need to plan for that meeting. Think about the emails that you have that you need to reply to, the calls, the text messages. So these are the kind of things that we put on our daily progress report. Again, you may want to take a screenshot of this or write it down, but creating a to-do list seems simple, but we need to have a process. Every day, looking at our meetings, every day, what proposals. We don't want those things to fall through the cracks. We don't want them to be friction points. And remember, as we were talking about this, that efficiency comes through developing skills. Proposals are often really hard to put together. Strategic proposals, pitches, any kind of pitch deck, webinar, class. We can make those things more efficient by becoming more skilled, even at the tools that we're using. Administration can become more efficient by becoming more skilled. So again, we're moving down this list. Now we get down to prioritizing our tasks. Once you've created all of these things, we're talking about filtering again. If I physically had given you 7 minutes somewhere, because I've done this so many times, people would have somewhere between like 3 tasks. For those of you that are really organized, down to like 25 tasks, even in 7 minutes. As you look at those things, you can't get everything done. You want to filter it out. Is that thing on my to-do list goal-oriented? Is it leading me toward? Is it high value? Do I have the time available today to do it? And when is the deadline? Prioritizing those tasks. Next thing, how long will it take? This is where that reality check comes in. You've got to review your calendar. If you have back-to-back meetings, there's no way you're going to get it accomplished today. You may need to look at a different day and plug that, allocate that time management, allocate it into another place where your time is available. Block out the time. Be very realistic. There's some, again, additional skills. Some of them are called batching things together. How long will it take? If you have a lot of the same tasks, batch them together where you're doing them at the same time. It can speed things up. 5 before 11. We're beginning to close in on the end of this class. 5 before 11. This is everyone's favorite concept. If I can just do 5 things before 11 o'clock, our days feel great. And so by the time we get to this section of the 7-minute life morning routine, all we have to do is choose, what am I going to do? This or that? Which one is most important? Is it this task or is it that task? Is it high value? Is it something I can start and finish and check off my list? This is my favorite part of the day, is just checking something off the list. In fact, if I haven't written it down, I'll actually write it down just so I can check it off the list. The power of the check mark, that power of doing what we said we would do today, is very motivating. The final piece is we just have to do it. And that's why being part of a community is so important. Coming week after week, watching the courses, talking to other people, staying involved. Did you do what you said you would do? Talking to someone else. What were your obstacles? What did you face? How can we do it differently tomorrow? So we've covered a lot today. This is just a jump start to help you get started. So I've created in this, let me pull it up, the starter guide. And you won't just have to download the daily progress report. And we're talking about just a single sheet of paper where you download this. And you can use it as a sheet of paper, or you can also use it with a digital platform just by uploading it or downloading it to your iPad. In the starter guide, I've actually put the daily progress report so you can just print it over and over and over again. This section has gone past so fast that I hope you'll download the Getting Started guide and just be able to navigate. Okay, here are the pieces of the paper that I need to focus on. You know, here's where the most important things are, 5 before 11. Here's how I stay connected. This is where I can just be grateful. I've also in this put an example of what it might look like to have a completed daily progress report. People like to see, what do you mean? How does it work? So this is a sample of one. I've also put in the Getting Started guide just a little bit about what the why 7 minutes, how do you get started? What are the principles? What are the morning and the evening routines? How do I track my progress? Can I create consistent habits? Can I be proactive rather than reactive? How can I adopt and learn? And so all of these pieces are in this Getting Started guide, and I'm very excited that we're doing that.